Hi. I was thinking that I should tell you about this. My brother died when he was 57, or nearly 58, which is very young. But he had an amazing life. He did many, many things. I really looked up to him in many ways because he had great talent. You could listen to a song and he could play it on the piano with chords. He would draw and paint beautifully. But one of the stories I wanted to tell you is that when he was in his 50s, early 50s or his 40s, he started writing about his life. And I started to read stories about his life that I had no idea. When he was young, we lived near Philabuzi on Pangani mine. My dad was a mill manager. Young Wilbur Smith type of character, because by the age of 35, my dad was a mine manager over a big mine in Mashaba. And at that stage, he was at Pangani, he was the mill manager. So he was in his early 30s. But my brother, there was a dirt road on the way to Balabala or something. And there was a wall damming up water on the one side of the road, and the road, no bridge, was below the wall. So when it used to rain a lot, this road would overflow. I could remember us riding up on the road. It was not too much of a problem. Sometimes if they'd say, no, it's blocked because it's flooding. And we used to swim above the dam wall. We used to get our tubes and so on, and we'd swim. But in there, my brother had written about a boy who he saw was in trouble. And being a very strong swimmer, that's one of the things that him and I both were. And my sister's quite strong, but I think that we were a bit stronger. He saw this boy in trouble, and he dived in, and he swam, and he rescued this little boy. And I felt so proud of the fact that he had done that, and that he had done that without fanfare. He had just rescued someone. My daughter was telling me that when she was at university at Leeds, her and her friends used to go swimming, wild water swimming. And there's a place near Leeds, I don't know how close it is to Leeds, but they would go there swimming out. I'll ask her the name of it, but I can't remember the name of the place. Anyway, she said, because she's a strong swimmer, her and her friends were swimming, and she had swum quite far out, and she realized that there was this young girl who was in trouble, who seemed to be floundering, and she was far out. And although there were loads of people, she just never, she just didn't notice. Nobody noticed her. So she called to her and she said, do you need help? And this girl managed to indicate that she did. So she started dragging her back to the shore and holding her. She said it was the hardest thing she's ever done. And then her friend saw, and her friend came and helped. And she said when she got out the water, she thinks because she was young, about 12, and she was so embarrassed, she just got up and walked away. And they were saying, are you okay? Do you want some help, some more help? But she just walked away. She was obviously embarrassed by this situation. But another story of near drowning, one of the houses that I lived in, that we owned in South Africa, was on the Klip River. We owned a very big plot of land. I think it was about half an acre. The house was very beautiful. It had a courtyard. We built a house for my grandmother, for my mother, not my grandmother, my mother. There was a big swimming pool, a very big swimming pool. There was lots of fruit trees, and the house was terraced going, the garden was terraced going down to the river. And there was a lovely veranda and so on, with a braai area. One day, a whole lot of friends had come to visit, and we were sitting under the trees next to the swimming pool. But the swimming pool was fenced off because that's the law. The swimming pools have to be fenced off. And we were sitting outside of the fence, and we were all chatting and laughing, and the children were swimming right there by us. The next thing I see, my son Peter John running out of the double doors, leaping across the veranda, hop, skip, jumping down the stairs, leaping over the fence. He dived into the water and he rescued this little girl. She had been just her face, just under the water, and could not get up. And we had been sitting there, and we hadn't seen her. She could have drowned. It's very, very dangerous. As a young girl, we used to go and camp on the Shashi River. And we used to take tubes. I remember my mother sitting on the banks of the Shashi River, and we'd take tires and we'd go up on the rapids, and we'd come down the rapids on these tire tubes. And then we could see far below, we could see hippos and one or two crocodiles. So I'm not too close to the hippos, they don't like each other. But we'd get out quickly and never feared, because our parents were confident that they could look after us. But if I think of it, it is a bit nerve-wracking. But let's be really careful around water.